Welcome back to Creatures, Caverns, and Crafting. Today we're going to use some foam core to make ourselves some cheap and easy to build rubble piles for our Mutant Crawl Classic game. I just had some of this foam core left over from a previous project. If you don't have this, or if you want a more sturdier project, you might be able to use some chipboard, maybe some MDF, explore, but I just had this on hand, and this is going to be, like I said, a really easy build. I'm starting off by just cutting the corners off of the foam core like so. Here's a bigger piece. I'll probably cut this in half and do the same. We'll probably have 3 of these all together. And now we're going to move on to our next step. I'm going to be using some polyform model air drying clay, and as I've done previous in my cesspool video, we're just going to put this onto the foam core like so. We're just going to form it. We're not going to really worry about fingerprints because we're going to cover this with maybe a layer of Mod Podge, and of course we're going to use some of that Paleo earth texture. Get this nice and pat it down. Next we're going to go ahead and start adding some details. Here I have just some mosaic stones that I use. I like to use these for bricks. I also took a coffee stirrer, stuck it in there at the top. I had a 3D printed window. If you don't have that, that's fine. But just keep in mind any type of little bit that you can put in there. Maybe you have a piece from a model kit, a wheel or something like that. Just stick that into the clay, allow this to dry, and we'll move on to our next step. So we're going to give the air drying clay about 24 hours to cure. We can speed this process up by using a heater. Either way, we want to give it time, and we want to make sure that it's nice and firm and dry to the touch. If you feel any coolness or any dampness, we want to go ahead and back off, allow it to dry a little bit more. I'm going to take some E6000 and just glue anything that may have popped out once the clay is dry. I also want to show this other piece that I use without clay. This just goes to show that if you have sprue bits or whatever, you can arrange those on the foam core and get a nice rubble pile. Next, we're going to go ahead and seal in the clay using some Mod Podge. We're going to allow this to dry. This is going to act as a moisture barrier. If we get moisture inside the clay, it will crack. Then we're going to go over it with the earth texture and allow that to dry as well. I'm going to give everything a nice dusting of white primer and then move on to a bark brown. Once I'm done with the bark brown, I'm going to start picking out details such as the windows and the barrels and start applying some base colors. Now whenever I'm doing this, I'm just using plain simple colors like reds, blues, nothing fancy here. What we're going to do is we're going to go back and tie all this together by using an Agreste earth shade. Once we've allowed that shade to dry, we'll do a simple dry brushing and then we'll apply some pigments. In this case, I'm using burnt umber, natural sienna, and a natural umber. To finish everything off, I'm going to apply some tufts and some small rocks by using some super glue. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like on the table. Attack! Well guys, that wraps it up for this week. I really appreciate all your viewership. As always, I know this sounds repetitive, but I really do appreciate all of you guys. All the comments, please keep them coming. If you like the video, give it a big thumbs up as always. Subscribe, follow, and more importantly, share and be safe. We'll talk to you later. Bye.